Nobody likes a shallow designer. What do I mean by that? I'm Brandi C., your quirky creative director, here to show you some books. Design should be deep. It should be meaningful. There should be layers upon layers in any design that you do, from a logo and branding project to a book cover, album cover. Literally anything that you create has the potential to be layered and interesting and deeply cool. But hear me out. I brought a few books today. As you can see, I have lots of books. A lot of it for research, for style references. I wanted to share with you just a few of them on how to do research to make your work deeper and more meaningful. First of all, color psychology. Now, there's a lot of people that have questioned me about this because colors mean different things to different people. However, color is arguably the most important part of your initial design. It gives the first impression. So how do you research for color? Yes, you can get online. There's lots of places you can go to find information. But just like many of the other things that I say, use the internet, use online resources sparingly. Because there is so much out there, you have the potential to go down crazy rabbit holes and be researching forever. Books that I rely on, books that I use to create my one-page color guide that I have up on my store, on my website, are these here. Some of them anyways. I probably have 6 or 7 more over here, but looking at the meaning of color is one way that you can make your design deeper, more meaningful, more interesting. Even if a customer, as in your client's client, never really knows that tan means reserved, depending on how you use it in your design, it can have that meaning regardless. With the understanding that yes, color can be subjective, depending on the culture more than anything. The color white may mean one thing in America and another thing in Asia, but as a general rule, it's a really great idea to look into the color meanings in things like printed books, because it is one easy way for you to have it at your fingertips at all times. A book that I highly recommend, The Secret Lives of Color by Cassia St. Clair. This one is not only interesting because it's got colors, but it is really neat histories of where those colors came from, why the colors are named what they are, and some meaning behind them. So if you're looking for some really deep, interesting research on colors that's not hard to get through, this one's great. And naming colors, some of these classic names like Dutch orange and gamboge are just incredible. Another one, well, another two, I guess. I always say, if you're looking at trying to get into color psychology, I really want you to check out Leatrice Eisman. I've interviewed her several times on my podcast. She is the color guru, and the very first one, I guess this is the second version of the very first one I had, was this. It has lots of color palettes. You can see there's lots of Post-its on here, but it gives you an idea of where colors can be used, how they can be used, their meanings, some complementary colors, as well as meaning and shades of individual hues as well. So these are really invaluable. I have had to rebind it myself because the binding came off. I used it so much. This one is a newer version of Leatrice's books, and this is about color harmony specifically. So yes, it has a lot of the same things, but it goes a lot deeper into some really interesting concepts for color palettes that you might be able to use, and there's lots and lots and lots and lots here that you can have access to. So these, paired with the Designer's Dictionary of Color, which again has the colors, the meanings, some examples of how those colors are used, and then Pantone and CMYK formulas. There's the word. Okay, so now that we've got color out of the way, what are these other books? So especially when creating branding, logos, things like that, but I've also used these books for album art for clients, thinking about symbols and the meaning behind shapes and things like that. So it's really great to find interesting research in places that you don't expect, in uncommon places, not only for inspiration, but also for research and then inspiration. This one is 199 Flags. So this is all all about flag design. The really incredible thing about this book is that not only do you get to learn about the different flags of each country, but it breaks down what each symbol means, what each color and stripe means, what the shapes are. And if you are interested in making sure that every single element of your design makes sense, literally and symbolically, which I think you should be able to do this for your clients. If you are trying to sell them on a design that you have that is perhaps something that they might not expect, you need to be able to back that up with interesting information that is accurate. And this one has been one of my new favorites for understanding what 3 stripes means versus 2, diagonal versus triangles. All of these kinds of things are really interesting. Another one that I love that I use all of the time is this book put out by the Getty, which is one of the most amazing art and photography collections in the world, I think, but at least in the United States. This book is Symbols and Allegories in Art, and they have several books, but this one has been the most useful. You can look up symbols like death. So say you're doing an album cover or a poster for a band that uses allegories of dying. How do you show death without just showing death? So you can go to death and see that, oh, okay, so some of the things here are people alone, darkness, people underground, things like a scythe that you might not have thought about off the top of your head. Researching into things that are a little bit deeper, water, circles, winter, autumn. So this one has been so helpful in creating really interesting and unique concepts for especially music, but other clients as well. And this one is a new addition to my collection, Signs and Symbols of the World. I got this one in the bargain racks of Barnes & Noble because it's signs and symbols. And in flipping through it, there's really cool flags, which you can learn more about in the other flag book, but there's also Celtic runes, snakes, hands, radiation, biohazard. There's just all these different symbols and meanings that can hopefully inspire you, but also give you really good research on things that you are already looking into putting into your designs. There's this week's little dig into my bookshelf and what I use the books for. The research that you can do is so important. Adding layers and meaning to your design is going to show that you are a better designer than the next person that just chose something because they thought it looked cool. I will link all of these. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any ideas on what other books you'd like me to talk about next. Hopefully you can add some of these to your research. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, share it with a friend, and I'll see you guys next time.